Welcome to Diversity Conversations, where we engage in thought-provoking dialogue to identify leadership solutions to today's most challenging conflicts. Streamed live each week, Saturday 9:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. Hosted by Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Strategist and CEOs Eric Ellis and Tommy Lewis. Join us and add your voice to this engaging diversity conversation.
Good morning, Greater Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky, the United States, and the world. My name is Eric Ellis. I'm the president and CEO of Integrity Development Corporation, and I'm joined this morning in close proximity to my good friend and brother,
Tommy Lewis, president and CEO of Make It Plain Consulting. Good morning, Eric Ellis, live and direct and in person.
5 years in coming. We are finally back together in the same room without all the social distancing and all like that. And we are just honored to be back together. Tommy sent me a text and said, "Hey, Eric, let's come together, man." And I said, you know what? We've gotten so used to just being in different locations. I thought it was a fantastic idea. And I'm just really glad that we're together, Tommy.
Yeah, I am too, Eric. And, when we first started, we started on radio.
That's
so
right.
the majority of the listeners were hearing our presence. They were hearing us. And so we would come together in the studio. We would be mic'd up in front of a producer at the time who was on the boards. And 30 minutes. Eric, our show was 30 minutes.
Right.
So we've evolved to being in person. And then I believe, as you would agree, we got a little bit comfortable with the technology. Right, to the convenience of being away. And there's something about the energy of being present and being in proximity.
Right.
There's something about that. And so I'm excited to come together again. We may toggle from being in person to being virtual. It depends. But we always like to say thank you to our community who joins us as well.
Don't get used to it.
Yeah.
We're doing it today. We believe that this is something that we're going to absolutely do. Because we've already found the benefit of coming together. Tommy, I want to jump right into our topic this week. We're looking at self-care. And Tommy and I were just talking about the importance of self-care. And I'll just read something to you that as we did our research. Self-care is essential for maintaining a healthy relationship with oneself as it produces positive feelings and boosts confidence and self-esteem. And we've got some strategies and things that we're going to get to later. But Tommy, let's talk about the importance of self-care, because you were saying, Eric, this is so critical because of what we're up against. And talk about that.
So for me personally, and then I'll elevate to general, Eric, there are times throughout the course of the day, throughout the course of the week, that I actually do not feel like myself. Mm-hmm. I feel like something is amiss. Mm-hmm. Something's wrong. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it begins with my breathing, where it's erratic.
Right.
Sometimes it begins with my thinking, where I cannot seem to grasp a thought. And then, I start a project, I move on to another project, and move on to another. Yeah. And next thing you know, I have 10 open projects. Right. At that moment, when I'm in my office, in my own space at home, I have to think, what's going on? Right. What is going on? Something's going on. I'm literally losing my mind, or I'm out of body. And so my self-care is to say, time out, time out, right? Sometimes I cannot always take the immediate walk or just go to the golf range or go golfing. I can't always do that, but I can always say, hold on. I'm not feeling right. Let me call timeout and not literally do anything. Right. And so that's very important to me. And I'm just speaking specifically because more and more it's happening more and more.
Right. And so just in case you might be out there thinking that you special, you're not like Eric and Tommy. You got your whole act together. I know you got your whole act together. But I'm going to tell you this. Tommy also mentioned to me about how we are overrun with negativity on a daily basis. Now, we see right now, and we're always late at these things, but we see right now that there are 30, last count, 30 attorney generals that are suing Meta for the damage that Facebook, Instagram, and all of that has done to our young people. We are seeing right now that more young people are overrun by anxiety, depression, on medications, and we're all looking around like, how'd that happen? Well, they got run over by social media, and we are also receiving the regular impact of a negative news cycle, and it's negative every day, all day. Right now, I'm all caught up in Israel and what's happened with the hostages, and what about the citizens that are trying to get home from southern Palestine to back to northern Gaza, and so all of those things, you are carrying them. And then Tommy and I had a laugh about how we're coping with that, and I'll start with it. I said sometimes I go to Grater's and I get me a big old chocolate milkshake because I deserve it. I go there. I don't have no parents now. I'm at the top of the food chain. Judy not here, so I can just go get it. It's only costs 25 cents more from the small to the large or the giant. So here I am in my car, tossing down a whole chocolate milkshake. I'm healing myself.
and then when guilt starts to come in,
I pour out the last little bit. I'll pour that out.
That's for shame and guilt. 99.9% for me.
Right.
Shame and guilt is 0.1%.
Right. I won't finish it off. Or I'll buy 10 packs of candies and throw 6 of them out. Right. And I literally throw them out the window, Tommy. I roll out the window. Literally up the window. But I got to get rid of them quick. Because if I don't, them Ike Mikes, and hot tamales. I grew up on that.
They're staying in the car.
Oh, man.
Hey, and those are things we do. And Eric, so we try to rationalize what we do to ourselves. Right. So if we're taking on negativity, be it physical or emotional negativity, we begin to rationalize like that's just the way it is. Or that's what we become. We become a fast-paced, moving, negative environment and culture. But I would like to extend to anyone, do we always have to be what others are? So if other people are negative, be it workplaces, be it even in our own families, do we have to subscribe to that? I'll share this. And it's not necessarily negative. Had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Happy belated Thanksgiving to everyone who celebrates the holiday. It's been about 5 or 6 years since I've gone over to my nephew's home, my nephew and my niece, who typically have a nice little spread. Different parts of the family comes over. So at any given time, there may be, 30 people in the house.
Okay.
And so, again, I haven't been there for about 5 or 6 years because I've been going to other families and been out of town. And I realized that when we came together, I have a few family members, Eric, who stay in this nostalgic moment.
Okay.
So we were talking about some things that happened 35 years ago. I haven't seen them in 5, maybe even 10 years.
Okay.
But they go back into 35 years ago. And so some of those experiences are very pleasant, and some of them were growing pains.
Right.
And I opted during certain conversations not to revisit it. I did.
Absolutely.
Right. Hey, you remember when I just didn't want to go there.
That's right.
I had chose in that moment, in the celebration of Thanksgiving, to say, I need to take care of myself, because unbeknownst to them, there are some things that I have still not recovered from, not only from 35 years ago, but with certain family members from 5 years ago. They don't know that I have, unfortunately, Eric, I've taken some notes, right, of what they said, what happened, right? And they're just going to brush over that and just jump back 35 years ago. So for my mental health and my self-care, I choose to be a part of certain conversations, and I choose not to be a part of certain conversations.
And I know some of you out there saying you don't take notes on people. I even quickly will say to myself, because I know the right answer. No, I don't take notes. The real right answer is yes, I do take notes. And I don't love that about myself. I call it different things, Tommy.
Yeah.
Sometimes I call it, I found out who they really were, and I just want to protect myself. I mean, I don't have to subject whatever I need to call it to hold on to not letting you go, And so I think that that's something that we have got to work on, but also we got to know ourselves. And I think that it is wisdom to stay out of things that you know are not going to lead to any good place. Now, as we look at this notion of, and I know I can't read most of these things now, we're too far away, Tommy. But we appreciate our community weighing in. Let's see if we can put this on the screen and just see what we have here.
Yeah, love this, right? That's one of our powers, to choose. We get to choose. Love that, Tommy.
Right.
Thank you.
Right.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. But the thing is, as we look at self-care, because that's what Tommy and I want to spend some time talking a little bit about, because I think that that's something that's important. We believe that most of our community would agree with that. But if we're like everybody else, not enough of us are implementing self-care strategies on a regular basis. We're not talking about right after Thanksgiving or at the top of the year, when you're making your New Year's resolutions. Now you're going to get it done right. No, we're talking about something that you have to actually kind of do on a regular basis. Give you just some statistics, Tommy. Gender differences. About 49% of men consistently take time to practice self-care compared to women, 32% of y'all. So y'all like we ain't doing none of our stuff. Yeah, there are only 32% of women are practicing this. Interestingly, men are also more likely to let social engagements and work responsibilities interfere with their self-care routines. Any thoughts about that, Tom?
You know, that's interesting to me, because I believe it. I believe those statistics to be accurate and true. And I also believe that although you shared those statistics, I think it's from a gender perspective that for whatever reason, outside of going to the gym and kind of the physical attribute of wellness, that men in general do not really take the other self-care attributes seriously.
Right. You're right.
Right. So we kind of go at this thing of life or work alone for the most part, where women are communal.
Right.
I think that they have more conversations around health because it's part and parcel of their evolution as women.
Right.
From little girls
to
going through even menstrual cycles, to menopause, to gaining weight after pregnancies. Those are typical conversations, which lead to a culture of having the conversation, Eric,
and getting some care,
getting some care, and then having some real talk about it, like, hey, you're not looking too good,
right?
I gotta tell you,
right,
because this is a continuum of a conversation, versus, again, I'm generalizing with men. We may joke like, man, you need to get in some shape,
right?
We joke, but in reality, it's high blood pressure, it's high cholesterol, it's working on prostrate, getting that checked. We're not really getting to that detail. We just throw the blanket of, hey, you need to get in some shape.
Right.
That doesn't help me.
Right.
Really. And so the statistics will remain the same if we are not accountable to one another.
Right. And so Tommy and I are committing at least this much to each other, that we really are going to make this more of a priority. It's been in my mind for a while now. And as I think about my children, because what I'm believing, I'm jumping ahead a little bit here now, but what I'm believing is that what's needed in our community is really a community approach to care. Because I believe that it's very difficult for us to do that by ourselves. Yeah, we've heard the quote that says it takes a village to raise a child. I think it takes a village to raise a village. And so we've really got to, I know that the only time Judy and I have been consistent with working out was when Jillian was in it.
Okay.
So Jillian was in it, Judy and myself. And so we were getting up every morning. And so if two didn't feel like getting up, the one with Pestrum, you know, and so that threesome made us, you know, it created a consistency that finally her doctor says, well, you can't be exercising and get no sleep at all because she's working all through the night.
So let me ask you, Eric, about that. All right, so we're talking about reducing stress, anxiety, improving physical health, you know, enhancing emotional health, etc. What drove you, Jillian or Judy, to come together to start the effort of healthcare?
I think it was each one thinking they were kind of doing it a little bit for themselves, but for the other one. Like, I know Jillian wants to lose, you know, some weight, so hey, let's join in with her. And she's like, oh, I can't have my parents die. They won't be good grandparents. They won't be here long, so I got to do it for them. And so was each one. Actually, it suggested that we had a greater interest in the care and the love for another than we had for ourselves.
Wow.
And it worked.
Wow. Right. So that's something to think about, right? Because that's a pivot in the mindset. I'm caring for someone else, and some of it is selfish,
Right.
Right. I want my parents
Right.
to be well,
Right.
so that they can be here,
Right.
to be grandparents,
Right.
Right. I would say this, that if it sounds selfish or not, I would say take the step to do it. Right. Just do it. If you're trying to reduce stress and it's your stress, be selfish about reducing your stress. Period. If you're trying to help another person and they accept that assistance, that help, be selfish about your helping them. Unapologetically selfish is that I'm doing this for you. So it's kind of a oxymoron to be giving and selfish.
Right.
But
I
those,
like that.
Those are just words and terms. I would like to lean more toward the outcome.
Right.
Are we stress-free or stress less? Are we increasing our self-awareness? Right. And we'll talk about in a moment a small test or quiz that we took.
Yeah.
Eric, that you know, we may be embarrassed to share our answers, but it's something that we can explore.
Right. Let me hit a couple other things, because I'll tell you that where we started almost was that stress is so overarching and overwhelming that we are all under it all day long. And whether it's for Tommy and I, business growth and development, and then not wanting too much business before I get new staff, because it means we're going to have to work too much. And so we're not trying to do that. It's like, I don't want to do all that work. So you're caught in that. And then you're stressed about your children and what's happening in their lives, and any stresses that they then encounter, then you carry those weights as well. And so we're all loaded down with weights that we're carrying. Let me hit a couple of other sort of data points. And then Tommy, if you got some things that you want to share off the other side, then we'll get to those strategies. Response to stress. A significant portion of people, nearly 59%, tend to engage in self-care only when they feel stressed, indicating that self-care may often be a reactive rather than a proactive strategy for many individuals.
Yeah. Reactive. Right. So reactive is here's a quick understanding of kind of problems and dilemmas. So we have problems. Problems are the foundation, right? And so a problem upon a problem upon a problem is a dilemma, right? Whatever that is, it can be personally, it can be professionally. And then a dilemma upon a dilemma upon a dilemma is a crisis. So typically when we're reacting to the crisis of, you know, physical health, the crisis of maybe an aneurysm or something mental, a crisis that's having us saying, stop, I need to address it.
Right.
In reality, we may not have even brokered the problem, right? So I think that when we're talking about self-care, one of the problems is, in my opinion, how much do we truly value ourselves to care about it?
We do not.
Yep.
We do not. We do not consciously enough. You would say you do. You would say it's human nature to. But God gave me a revelation one time of how much I don't value myself fully. That I put premium gas in my car and I put less than regular fuel in my body.
Come on, Eric.
How am I going to put premium in my car? Because I don't want to mess up the engine. Huh? Engine.
Wow.
Engine. That's what this is. Wow. This is the engine to my body. And yet I'm not caring for it like I would if I was watching somebody that was putting fuel into my children. Yeah. I'd be like, what? No, you better put the best stuff.
Yeah.
But when we are so oblivious to the constant need to maintenance our health and care for ourselves, Tommy, that I believe that this show is going to compel you and I to really get more consistency around this.
Consistency, that's the key. Again, Eric, you mentioned earlier that this is not a New Year's resolution.
Right.
Because we know at the beginning of the year that's going to happen,
right?
And folks are going to falter in about 2 weeks, if not 2 hours,
right? Right
after that first meal. I'm not going to be able to take the jog. I'm not going to be able to get on the cycle. I'm not. And now we have the mentality of can't do.
Right.
That this is not what it is. We are really saying self-care. What is it to you? Take your own self-assessments, and where are you passing or failing? Right? Where are you passing or failing?
Right.
And if you're failing, right, at the end of the day, no judgment here, no shame, blame, or victimizing. But we want all of us to be here a little bit longer, particularly if we have some control over it.
Right.
If we can control not having the soda pop over water, right, to stay hydrated.
Right.
If we can control what type of food or fuel, thank you, Eric, that we're taking in, let's control that.
Right. Let's see another.
I mean, most of the people don't know about how important is self-care.
Right.
You're absolutely right.
So here's what people said in 2021. The pandemic saw a surge in self-care activities. 93% of those surveyed were engaging in some form of self-care. However, only 45% practiced self-care on a daily basis, while 50% did sometimes, and 5% did not engage in self-care practices at all. Tommy, I know we've slipped since then. We were all stuck inside, man.
Yeah, and we did. And I would like to, Eric, at this time, I would like to invite our community to answer that question that was previously mentioned of the how. So literally at this time, we'd like to invite our community to offer up their best practices.
Okay.
How do you take care of yourself? How do you? Eric and I, we talk about golf all the time.
Right.
Part of that is healthcare.
Right.
Physically, yes, but emotionally, mentally, we decompress with one another.
Right. And right under this, right under where we are right now is my recording studio. And I go down there and I'm just so grateful. My son got my sound right so I can hear myself, and I can get lost in music, and it really it strengthens the rest of what I'm trying to do.
I find myself, Eric, going to work when no one is there.
Yeah. Woo!
Yeah.
I thought I was alone in that. I love that.
Yeah.
Nobody here?
No.
Hey! We'll get a lot done.
In the chair.
Right. Spinning around, being the CEO all by yourself. Yeah.
Right. It's so
peaceful.
Peaceful.
Yeah.
Eric, right.
Yes.
It's so peaceful.
Yeah.
Now I do recognize, and we both recognize, we're doing work.
Right.
We're doing work.
Right.
But it's the calmness in that work.
Right.
Right. In fact, so part of my work and your work as well, we do coaching, executive coaching. And I have been coaching an executive CEO who's in the Virginia area for the last 2.5, almost 3 years. About a year ago, He's a gadget guy.
Okay.
Right. You know
right,
that's
right,
about.
Right.
He's a gadget guy.
Right.
And Eric, he introduced me to an application called Calm.
Yeah.
CALM.
I've got that.
Calm. And there's a headband.
Yeah.
There's a app on your phone. And because he's a gadget guy and I trust him fully, I get it. And I spend maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes. You can go up to 2 hours, and you put on the headband that measures your neural energy, your brain waves.
Wow.
And on the app, it will have calming music like water over
That's
the
all
shore,
I've done is play the music.
right? Play the music. And then there's these bird tweets.
Yeah.
And so when you are calming yourself, right, you may think you're calming yourself, but you're not. And then you have louder tweets that get louder when you're not calm.
Oh.
When you do get calm, the tweets start to go down, and then the sound of the water increases.
Right.
It is phenomenal.
That's powerful, man.
And I have found myself in the morning when I can do it, but mostly in the evening, that when I go through the app and I have a lot of tweets and they're loud, I think, whoa, what am I thinking about?
Right.
And one of the things, Eric, that I've realized is that I'm not always in the moment of my self-care.
Right.
I think that's important.
Right.
I'm
You're quiet, but this is rushing.
It's rushing. Or I'm going through the activity,
right,
but I'm not calm. I'm not in self-care.
Wow.
And so it really forces me to be present in my care and not just go through the exercise, right? Or the activity.
You are preaching, brother, right now. I'm
Oh.
writing it down. You see, I got the Calm app. It's in my phone. I played the music on a couple of occasions, but I didn't really know I didn't know the backstory. I didn't know what you're supposed to do with this. Man, now I see you get the headband and everything, and everybody in my family expect it for Christmas. Everybody getting a Calm app band. So you just put that around your head because we've got to get there, Tommy.
We do. And so you just offered it up to your family, Eric. This same CEO and the company offered it as a gift to 120 of their managers.
I love that.
Eric, 120 of their managers all are accountable and they're allowed access throughout the course of the day to be calm and self-care. It's something phenomenal.
Oh,
it's an intentional act.
Wow.
It's an intentional mindset to really care for self.
Excellent. So I'm walking away from the show already with some things I'm gonna recommend to some of my clients as well. Tommy, did you want to hit anything here before we go to our?
I do. I want to
go ahead.
There are a number of things. There's 7 things that come up, and I've already mentioned a few, like reducing stress and improving physical health, enhancing emotional health. But I wanted to call out 2, Eric, and have you react to it too. The last 2 are with the essentials of maintaining healthy relationships with oneself. Self-care is improves relationships and then encourages a better work-life balance. I would like you to, Eric, to talk about how self-care improves relationships with others.
Right. So I think that when you are not engaged sufficiently in self-care, then you are engaged involuntarily in anxiety and stress overload. And so when we get under great pressure, then we are pushing back at anything that's bringing pressure at us or around us. And the people that we're around the most are the people in our families.
Yeah.
And so but our staff as well. And so I think that as we begin to improve our self-care, then we are no longer like that corked bottle that's about to burst. We are now in balance, which can then allow us to give better balance to others. And what I'm increasingly seeing, Tommy, is that any stress engagement that I have with others cost me. So I'm now less willing to engage in arguments, debates, especially if you just somebody in the workplace. I got no energy for that. Oh, you sound like you got it. No, I don't need to say not one more word. I mean, it's like, boom, stop right there. Not one more word to this.
Wow.
Because you are costing yourself and you're going to keep rolling it back and forth, rerunning it. And the research says that when I go through a stressful engagement, it affects my body and my health. But every time I recount it, it does the same.
So, Eric, how do you actually listen to yourself in the moments, right? And so what I'm hearing again, there's an engagement, there's some background on that relationship, the engagement or the event happens, and you're able to say, stop. How do you do that? Or what experiences have you had to get you to that place of wisdom?
Right. I like that question, Tommy. And I wish I had something more profound than this. Failure. Failure often. And so Tommy and I know this about golf, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
That when you fail enough at golf, that you're putting everything to the right, then you're eventually going to get it just by failing enough. And so what I've seen, Tommy, is that in my life, okay, I keep going down that same street.
Yeah.
I keep taking that same bait, whether it's with my wife, children, people in the workplace. And so after a while, I finally, after just sheer exhaustion from continuously taking the bait, I finally said, no, idiot. You know this movie.
Adjust. Adjust.
Tony Yates. Don't tell me about the same problem. Adjust. I keep missing it. So I have learned to adjust. In the workplace, I've learned that I'll get another shot at it. I'll get another bite at the apple. Right now, people are already made their minds up. I feel like I got the answer. I've seen this before, but it doesn't matter. You get, and I tell you, I just told a client this last week. We were talking about things, and it was like everybody's had an equal opinion. I said, well, I said, because they were about to go my way, but it felt like they were about to go there stressfully.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? I said, hey, let's stop right here. I want to pause. I want to say this to you, that I don't want you to do anything that's inconsistent with what you believe. I said, I don't care what strategy I give you. I said, you have to do that which you believe and you're comfortable with. I said, because otherwise it will not be sustainable. And I had to literally, not only did I say it to him, Tommy, I felt it.
Yes.
I took the pressure off myself for them to take my right suggestion. Because in this instance, I was right, but it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Because there's conflict here. Let me back away my conflict and say, no, you choose. And I'm not saying that to you like, good luck with that dumb idea. I'm not saying that. I'm saying make a decision that's consistent with what you believe.
And so when I make that decision, which is consistent with what I believe, then I believe it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm not impersonating the fraud.
Right.
I'm not plagiarizing. I'm not pretending.
Right.
Right. And so with that, when I accept it
Right.
for what I can do, I can make it more consistent with my own behavior.
Right.
I've bought into it.
Right.
Yeah.
And what I do, Tommy, is I then align with my value system differently.
Yeah.
Instead of the value system that says that I have the responsibility to protect you, I go to the value system that says that I have the responsibility to allow you to be freely make your choices. And I got to pull for that. And I got to know that they might not all fail. And so I have to do that optimistically.
Yeah.
And so it has to be with genuineness that I come to you and say, hey, I release you. It stops all the debate.
Oh, wow.
And in the family, what I've seen is that, okay, I've made a couple of mistakes in this argument. I know that my triggers, because both of us are saying, no, I want to get the last word. No, I want to get to the last word. No, I want to be right. You're right. And I said, okay, now I've already given a couple rounds to it. So I'm part of the reason why we're here. The reason why we're here is not just you, it's me too. So then I had to step out, and then boom, you're going to hit me with a kidney shot, boom, and an uppercut.
Yep.
I got to take both of those.
Yep.
And I got to say, no, I'm committed to exiting this. And what I have to do is I'm only responsible for my side. Apologize for what I did. I can't worry about your side. And it's not always easy, Tommy, but the older I get, I think this is the beauty of age. When you get old enough, you just tire. You say, well, I did that when I had the energy of a young man. Now I know it's foolishness. But I think some people never get that. They just ride it to the end.
Keep going.
Stress yourself out right after death. And so now but it also comes, maturity says that I've been wrong. And so it's not like I'm just doing this for you, that I've contributed some things to this that haven't been healthy. And so let me apologize for that part and exit.
Eric, I think that's a great word. I have, over the last several years, really prayed for wisdom to know myself, not only currently self-care, but also what I've prayed to be better in the future with self-care. And what do I mean by that? Is that as I listen to you and listen to others who've gone through some things, and I say, I'm going to be going through some things later with, aging, whatever. My sister, wife, me, all that good stuff. My children, right? My son and stepchildren, they're aging. Everyone's aging. I know that we will be different, all of us, in 5 years.
Right.
And so I want, from a self-care perspective today, to acquire the skills in dealing with certain conversations and situations so that I am better in the future and not reacting. So I am trying to be proactive.
Right.
And one of the things I'm doing, Eric, in this effort, I am saying less.
Woo!
I'm saying
Huge.
less. Right?
Red letter. If it was the Bible, red letter.
And
say less.
And that's generating a lot of
shut the hell up.
Yep. It's a lot of other energy around me from not saying.
Right.
Because even over the last couple of days, we've had some discussions.
Right.
And I've been mum's the word. Right. Now, no one's actually asked me in the course of the conversation, what do I think?
Right.
But I'm not saying anything.
Me neither. I just did that yesterday. Yep. I saw a discussion going on. I exited. I just exited. I said, don't even listen. Because they don't need another cook in the kitchen. Don't need one. Don't need another cook.
Nope.
Go to your room, cook. Yep. Nobody needs you. Don't need another opinion on this.
Don't need another cook.
No.
Mixing it up.
They got this. They'll get through it.
Yep. And I'm going to exit.
Right. Got nothing to do with me.
And now, they may circle back. Hey, we had a conversation 3 days ago. What do you think? And then now we turn it back over to that person. I don't know. What do you think?
Right.
I'm still exiting because now with the engagement in that conversation, be it negative and or otherwise, there's energy.
That's right.
That is given or absorbed.
Right.
And if the energy is not productive through our lens of wisdom.
That's right.
Through the lens of wisdom. You have to exit quickly because this is going to be 3 hours of wasted energy.
Exit quickly.
Yep.
Because it's going to be 3 hours of wasted energy.
Just stop. Right? Don't overthink it.
Save yourself.
Save yourself. That's self-care, Eric. You got to save yourself. Well, folks are getting in their own way. Right. I know I have.
Stressing yourself all the way out.
Yep.
Save yourself.
Oh, here we go. Let's go to the test.
Right. And so Tommy's called this a test. I've called it a test. It's a number of strategies. Again, 7 strategies that will help you with self-care. And so Tommy and I decided to write down yes or no, whether we're doing them or not. And so Tommy, why don't you start with the first 2 and then I'll.
So the question is, the examination, the test or the assessment, Schedule regular breaks. Now we have two different areas. We have the micro breaks throughout the course of the day. Do you take 5-minute breaks to stretch, to breathe, or to take a walk?
Right.
That's the micro breaks. Or do you take your me time? Me time, do you block out time? That is intentionally block out time on your in your calendar for non-work related activities that you enjoy. And so I'll answer first. All right. Do I take my micro breaks? No, not typically throughout the course of the day.
Right.
Maybe in the evening when I am not doing anything, and then it just becomes a 5-minute break.
Right.
But intentionally, no. And then do I take my me time? I do, but it's not consistent.
Right.
My me time of going golfing.
Right.
My me time of maybe going to the movies with my wife. Although that's not always me time.
Right.
It is a break time.
Right.
So I have to say no and a half yes.
Okay. And so you're going to see a pattern forming here before time and I get through all these. I've got to know no as well. Now, the thing is, what my wife loves about me is I do get me time. And so I do that, but not consistently enough. No micro breaks. And so what we're going to be suggesting to you all out there, our community, is that you make these things more a consistent part of your day. Tommy, what I've learned is that, let's talk about when you're in your car driving. Now, that's not me time if you got an environment that's filled with CNN or Fox News.
Yeah.
Now you've literally overrun, you've created another sort of pressure cooker. You've literally taken the jar and started tightening it down again, and you can't get oxygen because now you've tightened yourself down in this pressure cooker. And so when I changed my station to watercolors. And when I do, Tommy, everything in me calms down, and all those musical instruments, they start just pleasing all the nerves in my body. I got to do that more often.
Got to do it more often. Mindfulness and meditation, Eric. Do you take your daily practice of mindfulness, dedicate at least 10 to 15 minutes in mindfulness activities? Are these guided sessions, right? As we mentioned, the apps of Calm and others, I would say no and yes. And so, no, I don't have the daily practice. However, I do have the guided sessions. And now I'm talking about Calm today, but to be honest, it's been about a couple of weeks. And I know this because it tracks your intention to it. And so that's where we are. That's why I am there.
Tommy, I again have no and no in terms of daily practices, dedicate at least 10. So I'm ADHD. So we don't do a whole lot of routine stuff, you know, and yet that's what we need in order to create productivity. And so this will become my checklist for things that I need to do, because what I'm looking to do is introduce more life-giving. So self-care sounds sometimes like a highfalutin, high-level, you know, buppy, yuppie type thing.
Yes. Yeah.
But let's just call it extending your life, improving the quality of your life through regular activities. I know, Tommy, as I just read this here, 10 to 15 minutes a day to mindfulness and medication to reduce stress, improve focus, or prayer. I think that, Tommy, there's so much more direction that we'll get out of those moments if we just. But I know that my natural state is always trying to use something to make it business.
Yeah.
So I got to watch that.
Yeah.
Because I'll do this and say, hey, what kind of great ideas can I get out of that? No, how about just meditation and just calmness and just clearing everything out of your mind, you know? And so that's something that I want to do. Let me look at the next two, Tommy. Physical activity. There are two recommendations here that we're offering for you. Our community is exercise, a regular exercise routine. Incorporate a regular exercise routine, whether it's the gym session, yoga, or quick home workouts. I bought 3 under the desk bikes. One for Judy, one for myself, and one just in case. Two of them never made it out the box. I called Amazon and said, come get these. Come on, no. I ain't even got to the New Year's celebration yet or whatever. I didn't get them out of the box. I got one right here, Tommy. Look at that. You see it's in brand new condition. Ain't nobody, I mean, you can't even turn the pedals on the thing because ain't nobody turned them. So you have got to, you have got to get some type of regular exercise routine. And now I'm starting to think about it more because I'm walking downstairs backwards and things like that. I think, again, God almost has to let your whole body fail till you finally start believing that. So there's a no there for me. Active commute, consider walking or cycling to work. Huh?
Yeah.
We ain't about to cycle to work now.
Right.
I ain't but a couple miles from here. But cycling, there's too much danger out there in the road. So whatever I'm going to do is going to be virtual. It's going to include some type of goggles. Sock 'em, bock 'em, whatever. Yes. I'll be right here in the comfort of my own office trying to get that something, get my heart rate up. And it's going to be me and my Apple Watch, which I just sold that on eBay, though. So I got to use my phone, I guess. So, I ain't doing none of them, bro. But I'm losing weight, so whatever. You know, that ain't it.
No, Eric, I went on and purchased a nice compact electric bike.
Okay.
Where you can plug it in. It goes up to about 14, 16 miles per hour.
Right.
You can do minimal pedaling.
Okay.
But basically, turn the key, little throttle, and off you go.
I kind of like that, Tommy.
I've ridden it about twice, and I've had it for a year, and now it's a rack with hangers on it that I have my different clothing on it.
More clothing.
It is a nice centerpiece.
Oh my goodness!
Folks don't even know it's a bicycle now, right?
I'm gonna spit up my whole juice.
So they go, like, what is that? Right? And
it's a nice conversation piece.
It's a conversation piece.
Oh my
right?
goodness!
It still works,
right?
But we have to be intentional. We got all the gadgets,
right?
Got all the applications.
Right.
We went out to Amazon, right? We purchased,
making everybody else rich.
Oh yeah, and none of our behavior is consistent, and we're only hurting ourselves.
Right. And we want you all. What we're saying right now, we're saying it to ourselves, but we're saying it to you, and we're going to put a challenge out to our community to both hold us accountable around this. But we believe that the answer is a social answer. We believe that just like in the Ellis household, the only experience that we all have ever had with success was when 3 family members were working together. So we're looking to do this within my family time. I've been thinking about it. I didn't just think about this today. I've been thinking about this for a while, that we'll get together with you and Penny. And, you know, we just have to have something where we begin to hold each other sort of pressurelessly accountable. In other words, I don't need to pressure him into something that he don't want to do. It's if you want to do it. So if I want to do it, then we need a community that we're just checking in so we can be encouraging to each other when we're succeeding or when we had a tough week.
And Eric, I think we can do this. Mm-hmm. Here's why. Let's take this show, for example, Diversity Conversations. Right. Every Saturday morning.
That's right.
For 5+ years.
Right.
We've had community members from across the globe, more or less.
Yep.
They're dialed in every morning on Saturdays for about an hour.
Right.
That takes mental discipline.
Right.
That takes some selfishness. Again, we always are thankful for you. We don't know why you show up, but you do.
Right.
But you do. And so because you do, Eric and I say, you know, what is it that the people are getting? I think it's the same thing we're getting. We're getting richness in conversation. We're getting a start to our Saturday mornings and or our weekend. We're getting kind of a carrot at the end of each week to prepare for that Saturday. So literally, when we're finished with our Saturday show, we're excited about what's coming up next.
Right.
And I will submit to you that we're getting better.
Right.
We're getting better.
Right.
And so if we can kind of translate this mental exercise, this conversation exercise,
Preach, brother.
into physical.
Right.
Right. That's something I'm struggling with. Former athletes.
Right.
We've done it.
Right.
For a goal of winning.
Right.
Now, what are we fighting for? What are we playing for? I think we're fighting for life.
Right.
The way we
know,
want it.
I know it is. I know that's it. We've said it in my family. And Tommy, we want to join you in this fight because what we're basically saying, here's what we're saying, then we'll get back to a couple more of these, Tommy. Here's what we're saying to you. That there are people that are making their living off of your sickness.
Oh,
there are people that are making millions of dollars stressing you out and feeding you garbage. And you're sitting back talking about one day we're going to go to Washington and protest. Protest what? All you have to do is make a declaration yourself. I'm not taking that no more. I'm not going to let you stress me out till you kill me. I'm not going to let you keep enticing me into eating things that are closing up my veins so no blood can get through them. Come on now. We're going to get there because we're smart enough to get there. And if we care about each other at all, it's a little thing to ask for that you do a better job of self-care, or if you can't do it for yourself, community care about somebody else and do it for them.
Yeah, that's great, Eric. That's great. Let's keep going.
Yeah. Healthy eating habits. Oh, my goodness. Meal planning. Prepare and plan healthy meals in advance to avoid resorting to fast food. We spend so much money, Tommy, in the Ellis household ordering off of DoorDash. We needed to have started DoorDash ourselves.
Yes, sir.
Because we really get him a lot of exercise, DoorDash. And I know that we could literally spend far less on food planning where we pay a service to almost prepare us delicatessen meals than what we're doing in the moment. So we got to stop that one. We've committed to that as a family. We know that's something that we want to do. I'm going to take the lead on that. Hydration, keep a water bottle at your desk and ensure you're drinking enough water throughout the day. Water brings life to you and your body.
That's one thing I've been doing, Eric, more and more, hydration. I have learned that water is okay for me and meals. Before,
I agree. You had to have some special drink.
I had to have something special.
Yeah, water's good.
Now that I'm drinking more water during the meal, the actual food itself has a different flavor. I was adding something, carbonation, pops and soda pops and things like that,
Tommy.
And now I'm feeling more full, more refreshed, more energized over water. I'm feeding my body what it already is, at least 70, 80%. It's water. And so in addition to that, going to the next two, quality sleep and social connections. Eric, there's one thing about me, and it's a joke in my household, and I laugh, and then I do what I do. I get my rest. I get my rest, Eric. Now, again, in my family, my household, dad is always asleep 2 hours, 4 hours on the weekend. For example, for today, after the show, I'm going to get a 2-hour nap.
Excellent.
I'm going to get it.
Excellent.
So I do that selfishly and unselfishly. Selfishly, my body shuts down, my mind shuts down, and it tells me you're tired, for whatever reason. Unselfishly, I am better when I'm rested. You don't really want
an unrested Tommy Lewis.
You don't. So before, when I wasn't saying anything, I'm going to say something. Eric. Yep, I'm going to say something, and it's going to come out. I think diplomatically. But and it may even sound like this, and I'll close with the story. In the conversation, when I am unrested, maybe irritable, but that's not always equated.
Right.
What are we talking about? That's how it comes out.
Right.
What are we what are we doing?
Right.
What, Tommy? We're just talking. What are we talking about? Because I'm confused, and when I'm confused, is because it's not building the conversation. It's not building on anything, right?
Right.
So just like this sun shining in on the space, I've been in conversations that were only talking about the sun, and I'm saying I don't control the sun.
Right.
I'm not going to change it. We've had this sun or weather conversation. What are we talking about? Woo! Everyone else says you need to go to bed. Take care.
Right. Deuces. Right.
Yeah. Before. So those are the things that.
So they just invite you to the bed.
They invite me
because when you start going to direct family, it's like, oh, rest.
And you know this about yourself, and our community, Eric, knows this about themselves.
Absolutely.
We're not getting the rest.
Absolutely.
It will impact our social connections.
There's no doubt about it, Tommy.
Yep.
And the thing is, like I said, I'm taking early exits on some of those, but I do try to get my rest. And if I come in here, Tommy, because sometimes I'll pop up right at Bushy Tail. I'm gonna get to the office at 5:30. I'm gonna get in there, nobody there, just be in the office. And then about 11, I'm petered out.
Yeah.
I worked myself out.
Yeah.
I said, "Ooh, I still got some more hours left." Yeah. I go downstairs though, man. I got a little room, little COVID room, and I got a bed in there, man. I just jump in there. Judy was here last week doing a conference, a webinar from the office, and man, I just went downstairs.
Yeah.
And I tell you that rest is important. I don't feel like I need enough rest, but I do feel like sometimes I don't get enough rest. Because, you know, as you get different conditions, I'm up using the restroom all night. So, you know, every 3 hours or so, I'm up. And so I feel sometimes like I'm not getting enough in one sitting. So I would like that to happen. But it's been like this my whole life. When I was a kid, if I go to a party and I was tired, I just be in the middle of the party, man. I just want to be there. Everybody's here. Hey, I mean, today they'd have just drugged me on out.
Yeah.
But back then, man, I just sleep on a bucket in the middle of the floor.
Yep.
You know, so those are things that we need to do. Social connections, networking, engage in social activities and networking events to maintain and build relationships. Family and friends, make time for family and friends to maintain these vital support systems. Tommy, we talked a bit about that. I don't know if you want to hit that anymore.
Yeah, I do think it's important, making time for family. And part of, selfishly, Eric, part of coming together today for me was to reconnect with you.
I feel the magic and the love.
I know it's part of the show.
Yeah.
But I really, in my spirit, said for me to be intentional, where I was driving into my office, takes about 15, 20 minutes.
Right.
And I said, why can't I travel 15, 20 minutes to be with my brother?
Man, I love that. I saw the text. I was like,
so that's what it is to be intentional.
Man, I love that, Tommy, because it gave me a jolt of dopamine. And because I'm ADHD, I read the first half and I didn't even read the rest. Yeah. I just read, hey, can we come together? I said, ah! Yeah. And then, but that's what I do. For any of you that has never got an email response back from me, you need to know I read it and got excited that you had sent me an email. And then I forgot. I forgot you. But I was excited when I heard from you. And you think I don't care. So and then I had to go back and say, hold on, what's the rest of the time you said? I read the rest of it. You said, okay, that was good. I want to also jump back for just a minute. I think we got a minute or two left about the sleep environment. Yeah. I know my environment. My wife and I, so you might be with a significant other that you all have two different cadences for how you. Judy likes the TV on all night. Yeah. And all that noise and everything. And then, matter of fact, she'll throw on an interesting show and then she'll go to sleep. And here I am watching the thing to the end. And don't let it be one in sequels. I'm up with it all night, Tommy. And then all of a sudden it's 4:30 in the morning. I've been up with her show all night. But here's the answer. Don't blame your spouse if they ain't about to change because they've been doing this since a kid. I went to the airport and I bought myself some lids for my eyes, ear, everything. So I'm all suited and booted to get that rest. But it's important to create the right type of environment. Tommy, you've got the last word. I think that we are coming to the end.
Yep.
We got a minute left. What are your final words?
As we transition to the digital detox, Eric, we have to unplug. And so I would like to leave us with this, and you may have some final words as well, that I want to encourage our community and you and I to take time intentionally to unplug from our phones and computers. Eric was making a joke earlier when we were doing some research prior, at the beginning of our show, where our systems, our computer systems, they know what we're thinking.
Right.
Because they do.
Right.
Right. We can type in something haphazardly.
Right.
And the algorithm,
right.
I'm calling in
right.
them the proverbial they,
right.
the algorithm knows our mind.
Right.
It's calling us to it. And so I would like to remind us to unplug, to disconnect to something that may be artificial so that we connect to something that's more real. Right. And that's part of this piece, from emails to text to even a phone, to social media, to YouTube, to all those platforms. Every now and again, just really remove yourself from it. Right. And if your body or mind calls you to it, it's saying something.
Right. That's right.
It's saying that it's got you.
Right. There's a kind of an addiction there.
There's an addiction
there.
That
you have to try to manage.
So it doesn't have to be the young people with social media.
There's no doubt about that, Tommy.
Because I see even adults, Eric, that have children and grandchildren at the dinner table at the restaurant, looking at their phones as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
They themselves are addicted. So let's pull back so that we can have human conversations with one another.
Right. And we certainly want to hear from you if you like Tommy and I together, because we do. I've already felt the benefits of us being side by side. The energy has gone up in terms of what we're gaining from each other and from you. We appreciate you. We want you to have health and long life. And I think that that's what this self-care message is about. Don't let those who are making money from our demise win. We've got to win that. Thank you. And we'll see you next week for another of these diversity conversations.
Take care.